Welcome back to class. And last module, we were able to introduce ourselves to the necessary things we need to know about business and complaint law. And today we'll be looking into the formation and types of business organization, the formation and type of business organizations. And this module will actually explore the foundational aspect of business organization formation, the legal structure and registration process across various global jurisdictions that are selected. Also, we will delve into the implication for operation, governance, taxation, and liability, providing a comparative understanding essential for informed decision making in a globalized business environment. When we talk about the process, what are the process that are involved in business registration? It's actually important to um, have an understanding of how business are legally registered worldwide and for entrepreneur and investors. So registration grants legal identity and subject a business to regulatory and tax framework. And that is why we will be looking at different process in each of the United Arab Emirates, Australia, Canada, European Union, UK, Nigeria, and USA. For the United Arab Emirates, it's actually governed by the Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism for mainland operation. And the steps include selecting activities, choosing legal structure that is, let's say, preferred by foreign investors, and reserving trade name. It's actually important. You need to reserve a trade name, obtaining initial approval, also drafting memorandum of association, and securing office space and submitting document for trade license. This is actually peculiar to the United Arab Emirates. For Australia, it's actually managed by the ASIC and the ABR, and the steps involved in deciding on structure, uh, it involves deciding on the structure of the business, which is maybe a sole trader, partnership, trust, or complaint. And the registration name with you need to register with the ASIC, and also online complaint registration is important, and obtaining ACN, registering for ABN, applying for a TFN and GST, and complying with the industrial or the industry specific license. For Canada, in Canada, business can incorporate federally for nationwide operation, or provincially for activity within a specific province. And the process involves a NUANS name search, and then from there you submit a article of incorporation. Also, you register with the Canada Revenue Agency for a business number, along with obtaining any required local license or permits. For the European Union, the EU standardized complaint law through directive implemented by member states, ensuring consistency in areas like disclosures, capital requirements, and cross-border operation. So while each country manages its own registry, the EU initiates like the single digital gateway, aim to streamline online registration and reduce administrative barrier. For the United Kingdom, all complaints must register with the Complaints House under the Complaint Act 2006, And the step include choosing the structure, whether private, limited company, common. Also, you select unique business name, and also you prepare memorandum of article of association, an article of association, and also you register online. After that, you receive certificate of incorporation, and then registering with the HMRC for corporation tax. In Nigeria, after incorporation with the Corporate Affairs Commission, business must register with the FIRS for a tax identification number, which is TIN, and sector-specific licenses like that of the NAFDAC, CBN may be needed. And CAMA 2020 allows single shareholders complaint and mandates beneficial ownership disclosure, and CAC offer online registration. They offer online registration. And for the United States, USA of United States of America, business registration is state level. And the step include choosing legal structure, either LLC, corporation common, and also you move forward to verify unique name with Secretary of the State, file information documents, obtaining certificates, securing federal EIN from IRS, and also applying for state or local licenses. Annual reports and corporate governance documents are also required when you open. So legal registration is a foundational step for formal operation, credit access, investor attraction, and contractual relationships. Having an understanding of the jurisdiction requirements is very important for entrepreneurs and investors. So wherever you need to register your business, you need to look at every of this law. You need to look at the necessary things that are required in order for you to operate in such a country or the province. What are the types of the business organization? We talked briefly on them, and the first is the private. It's actually classified by ownership, by liability, capital access, and regulatory obligation. For private company, which are known for limited, Pty, limited, LLC. Privately, they are privately held, restrict share transfer, and limited liability for shareholders. Also, they have limited liability for shareholders, and there is fewer disclosure requirements, and they are common for small and medium scale enterprise. For limited liability complaints, this blends partnership and corporate structures together, and the limited liability for members, they have limited liabilities for members, and it passed through taxation. They are not exempted from taxation. They need to pay their tax, and also there is flexibility in management. For the complaint limited by guarantee, it's a complaint with no share capital, and members are the guarantor, and it's used for non-profit organizations and charitable organizations, and profits need to be reinvested. Profits are reinvested. For public company, PLC, it offers shares to public, stringent regulations, and also there is minimum share capital required, and can be listed on stock exchange for capital. And this type of company is ideal for large enterprises. Also, we have the unlimited complaint, and these are rare. Member liability is unlimited. Personal assets can settle debts used by professionals. offer financial confidentiality. And lastly, for the sole proprietorship and partnership, which I've discussed in the last module. So proprietorship, which is one owner's unlimited liability, while partnership is two or more owners, and they share the profit and liability together. The jurisdictional variation in requirements, the company formation and the um, compliance varies significantly by country due to local laws, regulation, and economic policies. So as per the minimum share capital, for UK private companies now, we have one um, £1, and for public we have 50,000. For Nigeria, we have 100,000 naira for private, which is the minimum, and for the public, we have 2 million. For others, you have it stated there as they vary um, according to each of the jurisdictions that we have there. For number of shareholders and directors, looking at that of UK, Nigeria, and Australia, the private companies can have a single director and shareholders. However, for USA, limited liability companies can be single or multi-members. The EU directive standardized management structure. And for annual compliance obligation, for UK, the annual confirmation statements account is actually needed. For Nigeria, there is need for annual returns to CAC and FIRS. For privacy and disclosure, we have for UK and EU, the mandatory beneficial ownership disclosure public register. They are mandated to disclose public register. And for USA, more privacy for limited liability company in some states, no national registry as it pertains to the privacy and disclosure. For United Arab Emirates and Nigeria, increasing transparency focus. There is increasing transparency focus. And for corporate tax, the rate varies according to countries. For Ireland, we have 12.5. For Nigeria, we have from 0 to 30%. And USA, we have around 21% federal plus states. United Arab Emirates, we have about 9% for profits above 375,000. Yeah. So name registration and trademark issues. Business naming and branding are foundational legal and strategic step for identity, intellectual property, and market presence. So business name registration, it's actually a legal requirement to identify an entity for trade, ensuring uniqueness and accountability. So it separates a, a company that I own from a company that you actually own also. So the name gives difference, and it confers the right to use a name within a jurisdiction, but does not grant intellectual property ownership. Then for trademark registration, it's a distinctive sign, symbol, word, or logo legally registered as representing a company or product. And trademark are intellectual properties and grants exclusive legal right to use the mark in commerce, preventing infringement. In such, you have it as it pertains to each of the jurisdiction and the approaches that it pertains to each of the jurisdiction. What are the common legal and practical issues that we have in this? We have the conflict between business name and trademark. We also have the trademark infringement risk, that is using names or logos similar to existing trademarks and result in lawsuits, cease and desist order, and also financial damages. For domain name conflict and cyber squatting, its desired domain name may be taken, leading to costly disputes or less optimal web um, addresses. And for cyber squatting, it's actually a common issue presently. And cross-jurisdictional conflicts in terms of names and trademark registered in one country may be unavailable or prohibited in another due to prior registration, regulatory restriction, or cultural differences. Also, another issue is the inadequate due diligence, and this deals with the failure to conduct thorough search for name, trademark availability, can lead to conflicts, legal disputes, and costly rebranding. We also have issues like passing off online presence and social media handles, and also franchising and licensing complications. These are legal issues that are common and practical as we talk about business formation and operation. What are the best practice and we have to protect brand equity and avoid legal disputes? Business should adopt this best practice. The number one is comprehensive name and trademark search. There is need to conduct a detailed search across national corporation registry, the trademark database, internet domain registries, and social media. Also, this simultaneous registration, that is, register both the business name and the corresponding trademark for enhance protection and minimize legal risk. Also, another best practice is international trademark strategy, which utilizes systems like the Madrid Protocol or regional registration for global coverage. Another is the legal support and monitoring, that is engaging IP attorneys, intellectual property attorneys, use trademark watch service, and implement internal policies for consistent brand use. And lastly, the periodic renewal and use, that is actively use trademark in commerce, renew them on time, typically every 10 years, and defend against infringement. So having the understanding of these processes and structures are very, very important for you as an entrepreneur or intending entrepreneur and business owners to be able to make informed decision when establishing and managing enterprises in compliance with local and international law. Thank you for your time.